You're watching Talking About it. I'm John Griffith. Cara Kilduff is social distancing, so maybe she'll be here or maybe she won't. Who knows? But I hope she's well. Actually, I know she's well. So, and she's missing out because we've got a really great guest for you today. Friends of the show know that he's a talented singer-songwriter, James Wilson of the Paisley Fields. Welcome.
Thank you.
So
Thanks
good
for
to see
having
you.
me. It's good to be back, even though we're far apart, socially distanced.
How are you coping with everything?
I'm coping with everything okay. It's strange, but there's good and there's bad. It's everybody's suffering, so making the most out of it.
Well, it's, from the people that I've spoken to and the people that I've had on the show, a lot of the more creative types like yourself, you've kind of focused on fresh content and channeling everything into your art. Do you feel that that's what you've been experiencing?
I have like the first few weeks, maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks, I just wasn't feeling creative at all. So I ended up doing a lot of hand and exercises on the piano scales and stuff and doing vocal warm-ups. I also started doing some charcoal drawing just for fun. But recently I started getting back into songwriting. I've written quite a few songs. So it took me a while to sort of process everything, I think. Also, we were supposed to be playing South by Southwest and our tour got canceled. So we were basically in the middle of this, what was supposed to be, like a 6-week tour ended up being like a month tour was supposed to be, and it ended up being like 3 dates.
Yeah.
And then I hightailed it back to me.
It's a common thing that I've heard from a lot of my friends who are just in my life or I've had on the show, and yeah, it's disappointing not to be able to have the face-to-face interaction that you're used to.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I've done some of the live streams and stuff, but it's not the same. Some of them are fun, but it's you're singing to a phone instead of seeing people out in front of you. So
it's a different kind of energy. But you find that it's been a good creative challenge in enhancing your artistic ability?
I think it's definitely a challenge, yeah. And I feel like my writing has changed somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
Okay. Well, I'd say you do have a single that you just put out. Was this the Other Boys? The video is out. We'll run it in a little bit. Was this in the works before all this hit, or is this a result of quarantine? Or
it's actually a bit of both. So we recorded this in February of last year. We have an album coming out on June 5th, and that was all. We started recording that in February of 2019. So it's been a long process. The single just came out, and then the video we made in quarantine. I made it with my husband. We were like, well, we're stuck in here. I can't go make a video, so let's just put something together in the apartment, and that's what we came up with.
Okay, well, let's take a quick look at that right now. Let the viewers enjoy it.
Mom's high heels, grandma's earrings, looking back through the mirror is a country queen. Men on the couch, Sunday football. I'm in the kitchen making pecan pie, and I like the other boys. Other boys fit in so naturally. Other boys, just who they ought to be. Never on the outside, but I tell you, other boys can't hide. And I like the other boys. Bootcut Levi's, jet black Stetson, flower on the wall as they're dancing by. Clothes come off, but no one's talking. I'm a one-man
That was amazing. I love what you were able to do in quarantine. Just it's the technology is so accessible now that I don't want to say anybody could do it, but you know, with a little bit of effort and a little bit of know-how, you can do a professional quality video at home, and
Thanks.
that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I think so. It takes a bit of time, and I had a lot of help from my husband. With he's a hobby photographer, so he has an eye for that, and we worked together on this, which was fun because we've never worked on a creative project together, and just used my iPhone and edited on whatever the iMovie app or whatever it is on my computer, and popped a couple black and white filters on it, and there you go.
Well, the end result was remarkable. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really enjoyable, and it gets the song across in a nice way. But you've been working on the album for over a year now, and it's starting to get the release. How's the reaction so far?
It's been great. So this is my first time putting putting an album out with a record label. So Don Giovanni Records is releasing it on the June 5th, like I said, and they've just been really great and helping me do it because they're in the business of putting out records, so they know what they're doing, and it's really cool that they just give me the freedom to be an artist and do what I want, and they help sort of navigate the business and figure out the best way to put it out and the timeline and all that stuff, and it's been cool to work together with them on this.
Take some of the weight off of your own shoulders because you've been doing a lot of it yourself for the last few years.
Yeah, definitely. Everything has been self-released up to this point, so it's nice to have a team to work with me, and the publicity and all that stuff. They help with all that, so it's been a really good experience so far. I'm excited to share the album.
Let's say I haven't heard. I've only heard the single so far. And is there a thematic through line for the album?
So it's called Electric Park Ballroom, and I named it that because it's the first place where I learned to line dance when I was a kid. Is in Waterloo, Iowa, this place called Electric Park Ballroom. We go every week, and that was really my initial connection to country music, and that's how, as a kid, I sort of found my place in country music, even though a lot of times I think fans of country music are not welcoming of people like me. It was there that I really found a deeper connection with it and a true enjoyment of country music. So that's where the title comes from, and it sort of encompasses the mood of the album.
Okay. Well, you mentioned it's like the country community as a whole. Do you find that the attitudes are slowly adjusting?
It's hard to say. I still get like negative feedback from country fans, but I also get a lot of really positive feedback from country fans. So I think it's changing. I think there's a really big divide, and I think there are progressive country artists and there are progressive country fans who gravitate towards people like me and other artists who are more forward thinking. But then there are always going to be those people who are stuck in the past, and that's a big part of the genre. I think is a lot of the fans are just really emboldened and feel like they can freely be bigoted and homophobic, and I don't know. It's a part of the culture that I hope to change.
Inch by inch, inch by inch.
Yeah.
And you're also a country boy in Brooklyn.
Yep, I am.
So, do you think that the geography of being, so far away from much of the heart of the community, the country community, has an effect on your own fandom?
I
Because
don't know.
I know you do tour a lot, and I know you are out there in the mix, but your roots are currently in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah, I do tour a lot. I did tour a lot before this pandemic, but I think, yeah, living here, you're in sort of this liberal bubble, and I can, go on stage and address if I want. Nobody's going to bat an eye. Then, I spent some time down in Nashville this year, and I noticed that people will bat an eye if you do that. But I think things are changing. I think it's just going to take artists who are willing to challenge that, to really force people to change it, force people to see, like, we're here, we're not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think just good music is universal. So if you are putting out some really good stuff, and once that gets into people's ears, and not all of your music is thematically LGBTQ. So if you find a slightly different entry point, and then they look at the rest of your body of work, then maybe you've softened the blow a little bit, for lack of a better word.
Trick them.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, before things had opened up to the point where they are, that's kind of how they did it. So you put yourself out there, and then, okay, you showed this much of yourself, and then the rest of it just comes along with it. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's like, that's not what I thought, but maybe I was thinking a little bit incorrectly, and I should really evaluate myself.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that people can change their minds and be a little more open-minded. And I think people are. I think the culture is changing a lot.
Mm-hmm. And being a transplanted Brooklyn boy now, what sort of country-loving community is in, say, New York City or other major cities that you might not expect it from? What have you found when you were able to tour and you were out there and just connecting with these different people in environments that people like me might not consider country friendly?
Well, I think I first want to say I think there is a really good community of country artists and fans in Brooklyn. There are a couple of places where I used to go to play before.
Oh, you will again.
And I'll go there again. One of the places is the Jalopy Theater and School of Music, and they also have a bar next door, the Jalopy Tavern. I've played there quite a bit, and they've been really nurturing to me since I started. So I always feel like I have a place there on their stage. And I'm actually doing a live stream for them. It's called Stay the Folk Home.
Okay.
It might be before this airs, but it's next Wednesday. So I'll be doing a live stream on their Facebook page, and we're helping to raise money for their venue so they can continue to stay open after all the pandemic is over. And then there's also the Branded Saloon, which is where the Queer Country Monthly takes place, and that was sort of one of my first introductions to queer country music.
Okay.
And that's run by Karen Pittleman from Karen and the Sorrows, who you may know, and just a bunch of really great queer country bands come through there. There's a lot who are based in New York, and then there are a lot of touring acts that come through there as well. So those two places in Brooklyn are really kind of my home base, I guess you could say, as far as a country music community.
Okay. I think I got off the track. I think we were talking about the thematic through line of the record. We were talking about the record, and then I just completely went off the rails, which is usually.
Yeah, it might have been me.
So the music on the current collection, I don't even know if you call it an album anymore. I keep coming up, but yeah,
it's an album.
Okay, my go-to is album.
Okay, that's right.
Album or collection, so it's one or the other. But the current release that's coming up that June 5th, thematically, does the album as a whole tell a story, or is it just little vignettes, or how do you look at that?
It's not a concept album. I took a bunch of songs that I had written over the past year and a half to 2 years that really meant something to me, and I felt expressed who I am as an artist, and those are the songs that we put on there. So there's a story there, but it's not a concept album.
Okay. it's sort of a snapshot of where you've been for the last year and a half or so.
Yeah, and I mean, even farther, it goes into my past, especially like dancing at the Electric Park Ballroom and growing up queer in the Midwest, and all the way to how I'm living now.
Once things sort of normalize, you think you're gonna hit the road again right away, or are you just gonna take it a little slow? Or
I mean, I would love to. I would love to get back on the road right away. I guess we just have to play it by ear. I mean, I had stuff booked through October of this year, and so far, pretty much everything's been canceled except for a couple dates in September and October. We were supposed to do our release party at the Knitting Factory in June, and we just moved that to September 4th. So we'll see if things are open by then. I don't know. Most of the festivals and things are either postponed or canceled. A lot of them just canceled until next year, because it's so uncertain that you don't want to put all this effort and money into promoting something just to have it be like, okay, another delay on opening, you know?
right.
So I would love to tour as soon as I can, as soon as it's safe. But I'm playing it by ear right now, and I don't really feel like I'm in a position to be booking a tour.
Okay. What about a live stream release event or something along those lines?
Yeah, we are going to do a live stream release. So June 4th, I'm doing a release party on Instagram.
Okay.
And it's going to be in the afternoon because I have guests from a bunch of different time zones coming in. So we have Eric Bazillion is going to perform, Karen, who I mentioned earlier from Karen and the Sorrows, Jason Hawk Harris, the Sapsuckers, and Golden Child, Wiley Gaby's band. So he's going to do a solo thing. So they're just friends that I've known for a while, and people who I really respect as artists, and they all said they'd be happy to perform a couple songs. So we're just going to have a little afternoon party on the gram, and people will be coming in, and I'll be doing a couple songs, and just get to like hang out and chat with everybody to celebrate the album.
That's great. Yeah, so you can just like cocktails and mocktails and music.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a lot of fun, and it's a nice way to innovate and get the music to the people, which is wonderful. And I think right now, especially as we mentioned, you have to be a little more innovative in how you get your word out. And I'm grateful that we were able to connect on this, and I can help you in whatever small way that I can.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm so glad to. I'm always happy to talk to you.
Yeah, me too. And like, hopefully we can get back in the studio once things normalize again. It's like, once it's safe for me to leave Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's safe for me to leave Brooklyn and go to Queens.
It's like every month or so, I have a whole bunch of tickets booked for me to go up, and every month I email my doctor. I said, "Is it safe to travel yet?" She writes back, "No." I cancel the flight and reschedule it. Is it safe to travel?
Yeah.
No. So as soon as I get a yes from her, we'll put it together.
All right. Sounds good.
Now, again, I'm really looking forward to hearing the entire album, which is going to be released June 5th, which this will be airing right before that, and it'll be on YouTube before that. But if it's after the date, the viewer, it's like, just go look at the website, which is
PaisleyFields.com.
And you can find out all about the current album, your past work, lots of videos, and a whole bunch of other information. And once things, I keep using the word normalize, but once things normalize, your tour dates are there as well.
Yep.
And I do hope to see you in as many live stream events as possible, because through all this, that's something that brings me a lot of comfort, is seeing my artist friends and artists that I love and enjoy just putting themselves out there with the live streams. And it's like, if you or other artists have a tip jar, it's like I try to throw something in the tip jar, and I encourage the viewers to contribute to the tip jar as well, because you are a working artist, and this is what you do, and you can't do it without a roof over your head.
Yeah, we need help, and I feel I'm lucky at this time. You know, my husband is still working from home, and we're okay. But I know like a lot of artists are really struggling, and it's hard. So we appreciate any help. I just started a Patreon, so you can join my Patreon. It's as little as $1 a month.
Okay. What kind of exclusive content are you offering your patrons?
So for that, it's some behind the scenes stuff. I'm putting up some B-sides and cover songs I'll put exclusively on there. And then if people are members at a higher fee, I'll send out t-shirts or records or some, you know, merch and surprises in the mail. So they're all different levels.
That's cool. It's a good way that people can interact with you. As I interact with you, it's another level, and I'm sure it's a wonderful way to get that exclusive content and that occasional surprise in the mail, and it's maybe occasionally a personalized thank you or two here and there.
Definitely.
I love stuff like that. I really do, because I implore everyone who's watching to support the artists that you love, and that especially includes you and everyone who's been on the show, because I wouldn't have you if I didn't believe in you, and especially I wouldn't have you back for the 4th or 5th time if I didn't really enjoy your work.
Yeah, thank you.
So again, all the information about everything we talked about is on the website, which is
PaisleyFields.com.
And James, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. I know I've been a little disjointed, but that's just the way things are right now. It's like I'm not my normal right now.
Nobody is. Yeah.
Well, again, I hope that within the next few months we'll be able to look at each other in the eye without a camera. Yeah,
I hope so too. Well, thanks for having me.
Exactly, and I'm grateful for you for taking the time out of your schedule to chat with me. PaisleyFields.com for the audience. For us, it's talkingabout.info. This show is posted there, and previous interviews with James and some live performances that he's graced us with in the past are all there. And I want to remind everybody that it's a major election year. Register and vote. Wherever your heart lies, I know where mine lies, and I know the changes that I want to see, but you got to register, you got to vote, and you got to do your part. So thank you so much again. And
thank you.
With James Wilson of Paisley Fields, I'm John Griffith, and I will see you again real soon. Bye. Thanks.
All right, all you buckaroos. Time to rope them up. Ease on into the ride. Suns are going down on this cattle town. Leave your boots under the chair. Play me a song on the steel guitar in nothing but your underwear. We'll have a couple of beers and look up at the stars while the old white porch swing sways. And come inside and I'll give you a ride at the end of your honky-tonk day. Ride me, cowboy, ride me good. Won't you ride me good? Show me what you got going on under that hood. Ride me, cowboy, till the cows come home. Till the cows come home. Look deep in my eyes, put your hands on my thighs, and ride, ride, ride. The moons are shining bright on this desert night. Back in town, they're all in bed. Here in the country, we're wide awake. The blood is rushing to our heads. Your hands on my chest and our clothes in a pile.